Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Season 17 is almost over and the May the Hash Be With You progression event just went live, as well as the final Season 17 crafting. Also there is a bundle sale ongoing, and as always you will find timestamps to jump to the part that interests you the most. We are going to get started with something that's a little bit more important than the actual progression event, and that is that the season is going to end and your season tokens are going to expire if you are not going to spend them in the next couple days. Make sure that you are keeping an eye out on this timer here. Spend your roller season token before the season ends, because as soon as this timer runs out, or either the timer that you find here inside of the season pass, this timer basically is the same one, but as soon as this goes to zero, all of your season tokens will also just go to zero basically, and then the new season gonna start. So if you're not spending your token, you're basically just wasting your money. So make sure that you are keeping an eye out on potential sales in the next days. And if not any sales come up, then basically just purchase parts or any miners that you find inside of the season store. And now that we have this very important thing out of the way, let's get started with the progression event. In the May the Hash Be With You progression event, the main reward is this super funny looking miner here with 9p in base power and 8.5% bonus power. This miner is fairly good. Also, of course, inside of the progression event, as usual, like the last times, we can get 2 of them, so you could merge this into a tier 2 version in the future when you are actually getting all of the rewards. Some other notable stuff about this progression event, that you can get one of the miners that was inside of the season store like last season, I think it was, the plasma core, and this time this is on rank number 12, relatively achievable, and this miner comes with 10.5p and 5% power, so this is pretty good. Also there's a lot of event pass experience included here, just in case you didn't finish the pass yet, because there's only 3 days left, and this is really good that they implemented here almost an entire level in experience. So I really think that's very fair. So you don't actually need to purchase the last level for like 10 roller token. You can basically just get it from here. Then we get some of those expedition speed up items, a lot of season tokens inside of the pass this time. Here you get already 550, here another 750, so 1.3k season tokens. And now that the season basically just ends, you can immediately spend them into parts and basically just keep the parts until you want to merge something, or you can just resell them. Also parts at the moment, because the season ends, is getting really cheap. So if you need some more parts for the future, I would recommend buying them right now so that you don't actually buy them when they go up again. We get 0.5 roller token here on the top already on level 3, a fury rack with 8 slots here on level 6, so this is a pretty useful thing to get. And also we get the Stevie and the New Milano all the way here on the top already, as well as a light beat with 2p in mining power and 5.5% bonus power. This is a really good miner, guys. And here's the list from Piero. Thank you so much for sharing that one again in the Discord. I really appreciate that, man. Here we have the actual total amount of points that you need, and for the first couple levels, as you can see here, it's not even that much. Up to the Stevie, you need only 120k points, so you need to level up like 240 games for this. It means you need to play around like 700 games if you wouldn't spend any roller token inside of the store and stuff, so this is actually really achievable. The New Milano, which is a fairly good miner, is a little bit harder to achieve already. Here you would need to spend a little bit more roller token in one of the sales, and then of course exponentially growing for the light beat, because this one is actually insanely good. So if you wanted to get here, you definitely need to either boost your multiplier, or you would need to spend a lot more money inside of the store, because each roller token that you spend will ultimately also give you progression event points. So keeping that in mind, as a free-to-play player, if you don't intend to get your multiplier up, maybe reach here to level 7 and then basically just don't even try anymore, except if you intend to spend anything on those offers that we are talking about here in a minute, because then maybe you can even go to the New Milano, but anything after this is basically not possible without the multiplier. For all of this stuff you would need down here 19 million points in total, and then you have the Ham twice and can make it a tier 2 version. And to make it tier 2 you need only 5.2k white fans. This is really inexpensive, but the merging price itself is a little bit higher. That is another 14.4 roller token, but then this miner is actually really good. It has 24p almost and 11% bonus power, so if you actually get all the way to the last level in the progression event, I think this is a really good merge. And in this case I don't think you would even need to wait on a merging discount, because right now parts are really inexpensive and the merging fee is not that crazy. Another thing ongoing is the final season pack sale, and here we can basically purchase everything we got from the season pass in one package, and this one costs you around 87 roller token. Or what I think is really cool is this new slider that they implemented. We can purchase purchase it in any kind of currency, and this is really good. I love that feature. And as you can see here, all the prices are fairly similar except for the Rollertoken one. This is a little bit more expensive. If you would do the quick math, this other packages cost you around $60, as it says here with the Binance US dollar, and all of the value of those currencies are very similar to this price here actually, except for, like I said, the Rollertoken. So this is a little bit more expensive, but also that is fair enough because we can get a lot more Rollertoken than we can get the other currencies. So I think I really like this feature here where you can basically just choose any of the currencies, because ultimately if a lot more sales will be available in all of the currencies, we will have an easier time to actually purchase those ones instead of blindly mining any currency and just praying for the best that this next sale will be in that currency that we are mining. Then you can purchase also some other seasonal packages. This one here, for example, costs you 100 Rollertoken. Here unfortunately we cannot choose the currency, but here you get the Sagittarius, Virgo, Gemini and also Libra, and these miners are fairly good miners, but I don't think that they are worth 100 Rollertoken, because that is ultimately what the entire season pass would have costed you if you would have purchased it at the beginning of the season and just completed by now. And not only is this the same price for the 4 miners, but inside of the actual season pass you would have gotten all of the miners 5 times, so this is a little bit overpriced in my opinion, and the craft that is ongoing at the moment does not really make up for the price of this package. At least that's what I think. We're gonna get into detail in the crafting here in a moment, but also you can get the season pack 2, which then includes all of the 4 miners that you can see here, and this one's cost you 22 Rollertoken, which again I think is very overpriced also for this package, and that goes also for the last package here. This is definitely not something that I would purchase, even if it is only 3 Rollertoken and it looks really good on paper. It's definitely not good if you would make the calculations what the actual season pass costed you and what these miners now cost you in return. So I definitely do not recommend to purchase anything from here, except maybe if you wanna go for all of the crafts, the first package here up where you get absolute all of the miners, because even though this is still overpriced here, at least you can choose a currency, and also it costs you only like 87 Rollertoken to get all of them. Some of these things can be resold, and it is way cheaper at this point to go for this package than for the single miners down here. And that brings us to the final season crafting, which is ongoing now. We can craft tier 2 miners from the season pass. Technically, if you got all of the things from the season pass and you don't spend money inside of any of these packages here, then this is a very good craft, because you are just merging the trash that you are getting from the season pass into something really good at this point. And also you need always 4 different ones. If you completed the entire season pass, then now for a lot cheaper than the actual merging prices of these miners, you can get the tier 2 copies of them. And I think the craft itself is really interesting, because this season pass was a little bit different from all the other ones, where we got like 5 copies of each, so we could make a tier 3 version, but 1 miner was left. And here now we have the reason for that. Either we could burn them in those burning events, resell them on the marketplace, or we have a tier 3 version of those miners if we already merged it. Like you can see here, the Sagittarius, I was merging it to tier 3. Also I did the same with Virgo and Gemini, so we have all of them on tier 3 already. That is also why I do not have that many miners left, as you can see here. But if I wanted now a tier 3 copy and a tier 2 version, and I wouldn't have burned anything inside of those burning events, then now I could have crafted them without needing another copy of all of the miners. So I think the craft itself is really interesting, and it is definitely cheaper to make this craft instead of the actual merges of the miners. So this is really good. If you happen to have 1 copy spare, you can definitely craft them. Do not be scared about the crafting price of 15 Rollertoken. Believe me that the actual merging stuff is probably even more than double as expensive as this. Other than that, I would definitely not recommend purchasing anything from here, and basically just use as materials whatever you already have, except maybe you are missing those ones that are really cheap here. Anything else is definitely a red flag and just a waste of money. Also, there's a lending sale for those speed up items for the expeditions ongoing. This one's come at 45 cents in Rollertoken, and the only thing I would purchase them for is for basically having free progression event points. Other than that, I think this item needs a little bit of a rework, because it's fairly useless that you use the speed up item inside of the expeditions and your hamster can still fail. So basically you are wasting your items. The hamster gets back from the expedition faster, but he still failed. So basically you're just wasting your items into failing, and I don't really like that. I think this should be like a 100% success rate item-ish. I don't know how to explain that, because other than that you are kind of forced to always use only one item at a time and pray that your hamster doesn't just randomly fail the next hour, because then your item is gone, you wasted your money to not get anything into return. So I really hope that those speed up items get overhauled a tiny bit and they change the way they work in one or the other way so that they are more useful and I can stop calling them useless. Also keep an eye out on the blog post that they release, because season 18 is just around the corner, guys. Enter the crypto Valhalla. All of the things that are standing inside of this blog post are really interesting, and I'm gonna cover all of the news about the next season, of course, in the next days when it goes live and we have a little bit more data and we can actually see the season pass. There's a lot of really good stuff coming our way in Rollercoin. I absolutely love what they're gonna implement here, and I love all of the changes that they try to push on us with the new season, with those daily quests and stuff. So I really recommend, if you didn't already do it, you read those blog posts here and you get the updates basically before I release the video, and then we can have a nice discussion inside of the comment section about the new season when the time comes. I'm really excited about that, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and I see you in the next one. Bye!